Wolves won, Man United 2, last game of the season. Nice little 3 points, 10 changes made by Solskjaer before we head off to our holiday in Poland. Some nice performances there, a nice goal for Elanga as well. Some young lads getting some chances and opportunities. What you got to say about that, Rick?
Second team's better than the first team, Flex. The second team is better than the first team, and I mean it hand on heart. We've had in our last 4 games, we've played 2 of the better teams in the league. So we've got both both sides of the spectrum. We've played Leicester, we've played Liverpool, and we've played Fulham, and we've played Wolves. We've played the reserves against Leicester, and we've played better against Leicester than we played against Liverpool. And we've played the reserves against Wolves, and we played better against Wolves than we did against Fulham. Them lads are better than the first team players.
If the first team would have played, if them lads today would have played against Liverpool, would have played against Fulham, and vice versa, do you not think that they would have maybe got the result? Like if the first team had played.
I'm not talking about the result. I'm talking about watching them play football, Flex. I'm talking about
you prefer where they play football.
Ahmad and Elanga look after the ball better. They pass it better. They see the shorter passes better. Juan Mata. Anybody who watches football who thinks Bruno's a better footballer than Juan Mata, I don't know what they're watching football for, Flex. He's absolutely superb. I know he didn't last the full game, but he did against Leicester. His touch and his passing and the way he finds space and all that. And don't tell me you didn't think we played well today compared to how we've been playing. Did you think we played well today?
I think we played well against an average Wolves side who aren't that good.
Who are you playing against? I've seen us play terrible against some terrible teams.
I hear what you're saying. Let me answer your question. I think we played well today. I think it was a professional performance. I think Axel and Eric Bailly played well. I could flip it and say Tuanzebe and Bailly are better than Harry Maguire and Lindelof, and they should play every game then. I could say that based off one game. I could say,
you can say that if you want. I'll argue that the back 4, the first choice back 4 of Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Shaw. If that front 6 got a chance with the first choice back 4, I think we'd have a proper team. A proper team.
So are you trying to tell me? Let me get this straight.
Van de Beek and Matic are both better than Fred. Van de Beek and Matic are both better than McTominay. Juan Mata's better than Bruno.
Juan Mata's not better than Bruno, Rick.
He's better. He looks after the ball better. We move the ball around better.
He's not better than Bruno, Rick.
It's not even close. It isn't.
He's not better than Bruno, Rick. He's not better than Bruno.
So that's your opinion.
It is.
It's not even close, Flex. It's not even close.
It's not even close.
Better. The way he's putting people into good positions and the way he's lending people the ball, getting it back, the way he's getting it in tight situations and not losing it like he does, is miles better. He's absolutely.
All right. Let's
by a country mile.
I think this is brilliant because what this is. I think there's a lot of people out here who won't be able to have an interesting conversation about this because they'll be too busy going, you're miles off. I want to get into this. Right? I want to talk about this. Listen. One Mata played well. One Mata played really well. And I've always said he shouldn't be retiring and stuff. He's a good player. Can he play for us week in, week out? Okay, clearly not. But he's played well.
I would argue with that. He's 33, isn't he, Flex? I'd argue with that. You can't say clearly not because he's not being given the opportunity to play week in, week out.
Why is he not? And he hasn't been given an opportunity because Bruno is smashing the whole fucking league out the park.
I don't care.
Fact.
We'd be playing better football like that regularly if he was playing.
Well, I'll tell you what then. This is the question. Better. Okay, that's fine. So this is the question then. If you want to say that, that's fine. That's your opinion. So we've just finished second with Bruno, who's got more goals and assists or a lot of goals and assists because he's contributing to our team. And we finished second and he's had a blinding season. His numbers say that. I know it's not all about numbers. It's about the eye test. You prefer the way Mata looks after the ball well. But Bruno has had a fantastic season. Factually, he's had a fantastic season, yeah?
No,
so
I don't agree factually.
All right, okay, fair. Okay,
all right. Stats make that.
All right. Well, maybe the stats are fake then. Maybe they haven't really happened.
It's not any fake. It's just that they're not as important as some people.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Even if you take that, are you saying that we have a better chance of catching Man City if we play that team week in, week out with Elanga, with Ahmad in a false 9, take out Cavani, Greenwood, or Martial from up front and play Ahmad in a false 9? Take out Rashford from the left-hand side and put Dan James. I don't even know why I'm asking you that because I know what your answer will be to that.
Obviously.
Take out Greenwood from the right-hand side and play Ahmad every game. Take out Bruno. Right, I'm just hold on. Let me just round up what we're saying, and then I can contextualize it. Take out Bruno and play Mata as the number 1, number 10 every single game.
Mata's and take finished. Out. He needn't be finished if he got more game time. So we don't know the situation here. What I do know is when he gets an hour here and there, we're better.
He plays well. All right, cool.
And I believe that's a fact.
We'll be closer.
We're better today.
So we'll be close. So in effect, in essence, then. We don't need to buy no one. We just need to play the players we got more often. That's what you're saying. And we'll catch City. Or we've got a better chance of catching City. I'm winning the league.
We've got enough good players to be able to catch City. I mean, look. I'm arguing Juan Mata's case because he should have been playing more. I do appreciate that he hasn't got very long left. I don't know how fit he'll be next season. I do know that he's just played for 75 minutes against Wolves. I think he played one game against Leicester. I think he did. And he's been perfectly fine. So I'm not saying he could play every week, and I'm not saying that next season he could have played every week. But certainly for the last 2 seasons, he should have been playing a lot more. A lot more. Yeah. If we can play like that when he plays, he should have been playing a lot more.
Let me get into this. This is interesting. Donny van der Beek today, this is something I do agree with you on.
Different class.
Donny van der Beek today ran the show. Brilliant on the ball. And the fact that he's playing in the midfield too alongside Matic, but he's finding himself arriving late in the box, being on the end of things, plays with this. And you said there...
He wouldn't play as well if he was playing with Bruno. Him and Mata, they're on the same wavelength.
That's what the difference was today.
He would not play as well if he was playing with Bruno.
So how much of it...
I remember a League Cup game early in the season when we won 3-0 at Brighton. I remember Juan Mata, because obviously they play in them sort of games. We tend to win quite comfortably when they play. When we beat Brighton away 3-0 in the League Cup, I remember Juan Mata saying how much he enjoyed playing with Van der Beek. He's such an intelligent player.
Well, Mata played good against Luton as well.
And he sees the short passes. So I bet it's reciprocal. I bet Van der Beek loves playing with Juan Mata.
So when you see Bruno linking up with Cavani and Pogba and magic is happening and those guys are doing the business because the better players are playing with each other, isn't that not the same thing?
It doesn't happen as well. We don't play as well as that, Flex. We might score the odd brilliant goal, of course we do.
But today, hold on a minute.
As well as that, as we did at times today.
Fair enough. At times today, Rick, we didn't dominate that game from start to finish.
No, we were
and we didn't create a shit. Right,
yeah, but
and we hang on, and we didn't.
We don't dominate every game every week.
Right, I know that. But what I'm saying is, and that's but that's where I'm saying that performance.
I'll tell you this as well. Let me jump in with something else. We didn't dominate the game, Flex. We didn't dominate the game. Did you appreciate the quality of the team shape today when we didn't have the ball? Did you see how much better it was? Rick. Did you see how much better it was? Rick. Just sitting back.
But that's not enough to win a league, Rick.
No Greenwood and no Rashford running up and letting them play through us. Sat back, proper tight, compact, like a football team.
Do you know what, Rick?
We were like a football team today. It looked good.
Okay. Do you know what? One thing I love about good, honest football conversation, right? Me personally, is not just if I don't agree with someone, I won't just shut my ears. So what I want to do is try and unpick some of the things you're saying and find valid arguments in some of what you're saying. Because actually, what I think would be more suitable for the things that you're saying is actually taking bits of those players' games and adding them to the better players. So listen, hear me out on this. I know you won't agree, but just hear me out, right? This is my opinion. Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Martial, right, are better than Dan James. Yeah? They're better footballers than him. Now, hear me out. All right, I know you don't. I know you won't agree.
Martial is Greenwood and
right. I knew you would say Martial, but just hear me out. I'm not saying do you agree. Just hear me out. Yeah, they're better players than Dan James, in my opinion. They're better players than Ahmad. You know, you look at what they've done in their career. They're at a different stage. They're better than Ahmad at this stage. However, if you was to say to me, Flex, if Marcus Rashford could take a little bit of what Dan James does off the ball and play like that off the ball, then I think he'll be a better player. He could kick on. If you used to say to me, if Mason Greenwood shape off the ball and had that understanding, like say Ahmad, what you've seen on him, if you used to say that, I'll be like, you know what, Rick, that's a fair point. If they can add those bits to their games, then they can kick their game onto another level. Right, but where I struggle with what you're saying, and which is why I disagree, is because I think that I think you saying that those guys are way better than the other guys who are doing it at a big level. Don't get me wrong. Do I get frustrated with Marcus Rashford? 100%. Do I think that Marcus Rashford shouldn't start the Europa League final over Greenwood? I think there's a case for that, although I don't think it would happen. Do I agree that Van der Beek is a better footballer than Fred and McTominay? 100%. Do I agree that Mata is not past it and can still play? I do agree. But what I don't agree with is the fact that that whole team together, if you played that for 38 Premier League games, by and large, we wouldn't be second. I don't agree with that. What do you say to that?
The back four would have to be changed. They wouldn't be. They wouldn't be second. They won't be second with that back four.
But you're saying that's the only reason.
Be second if you swap the whole back four for the first team, first choice back four. I would also like to have a proper number 9, but I'd be more than happy. Van der Beek and Matic. I'd be more than happy with Mata, and I'd be more than happy with any 2 of those 3 players playing wide. Dan James, Ilanga, and Ahmad. I'd be happy with them. Any
Dan James.
You need a proper number. You do need a proper number 9, no, and I'd be happy with.
When we've seen that with Cavani
and Martial. So there's 5 players there's 6 players there, and 5 of them for me, I'd be quite happy with them playing regularly.
But this is what I mean about taking the good bits and bad bits, because then I could say, well, if Dan James had a bit of the finishing composure that Mason Greenwood had, he wouldn't try a chip that went to the corner flag when he's clean through and could have killed the game. Like, these are the moments, like, as well as, but then again, if I said, this is what I'm talking about, the ingredients, if Marcus Rashford would have had a bit of what Dan James has got and puts his foot through the ball with an amazing cross on his weaker foot and puts it on the money, which is what a wide player is supposed to do, then he could go up levels. And that's why I'm talking about, maybe don't go all left with the opinion, but maybe take bits out of it to add to what we've got. That's how I see it. Because I do see some of what you say. Yeah.
If you could mix it up, but if you obviously you can't mix it up, can you? So you can't mix it up. So you've got to make your own decision onto which players that you think are the better players. And I think those players are better players.
Don't you think you need to see? I know that there's a thing called football instinct, especially if you've been watching football for a long time. You know, like if you're a scout and you go and watch a player for 45 minutes, 90 minutes, you can go, yeah, he's a player. Him, I know he's got it, sort of thing. Yeah. But isn't there a little bit in it that you think, well, these players haven't played that much? I know because they haven't been given the chance. But players like Ahmad, Elanga, even Donny to a certain extent, even though I agree that he's a very good player, don't you think you would like to see them over a bit more of a longer sample size? It's almost like taking a sample size of only a few and then making an overall combination of the decision when you haven't seen them over a sustained period of games.
I do agree with that. It is a good point. But all I'm saying is, and there's nothing. Look, I know
what you're saying is you prefer that performance.
Criticise me for criticising United players and especially criticising the young players. Don't get me wrong here, Flex. Think about it. I'm praising.
You've got agreement.
I'm praising the even younger players. I think Ahmad really looks the part.
He did.
You know what, Rick? As well.
Let's talk about Ahmad.
Better players to me.
Right.
They look better.
Let's talk about Ahmad. Just as I agree today. He looked really good. His awareness, his touch on the ball, the decisions he makes. Talk to me about him.
Well, for a young lad, exactly my point. I'm sorry, but Marcus and Mason, they don't see the short passes quickly enough. I know Ahmad ran into trouble a couple
a few times. Yeah.
But the speed with which he sees the short pass, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think he looked really. Do
you know what I think? Again, you're going to disagree with me, but I'm just outside looking in. What I see when you say these things is people playing the game the style of football that I think you like,
100%.
and I feel like because they tick your boxes, even though the other players' output, the other players that are playing that you don't quite fancy as much, although their output is higher and we're scoring goals, and I know we're not perfect, I just feel like because you like the way the other players play.
I don't know what you mean by a higher output, Flex. I'm not sure. I mean, they've hardly played, have they? Do you know what I mean? They've played. But there's a
reason. But I think but the reason why they haven't played is because the other players
against Wolves and we've scored twice, and the other players played against Fulham and we scored once. We can only compare the amount of games that they've actually played, can't we?
Yeah, but the reason why isn't just because Solskjaer, and this is my opinion, it isn't just because Solskjaer hasn't given the others a chance. The reason why is because the other players that you're saying aren't better. They are better. I just think they can add ingredients from these other players that you're talking about that can kick them on. Like I don't think Dan James can get much better at what he does. But I think that the areas where he is good, is good for the team in certain games. But as we see, he had the chance to completely kill the game and tries to think, because he doesn't have that in the locker, and he never will have that in the locker. Like, I think you can teach positioning.
His finishing
like,
should be.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's never going to have
Mason's
that.
supposed to be the best finisher in the club, and he was clean through during the week, wasn't he? And he shot against the keeper's legs, or was no straight into the keeper's body. You know, so
forced to save though. It can go anywhere. Dan James kicked it to the corner flag.
Yeah, it was a poor effort though, Flex. It was right at the keeper.
It was, but I just don't think he can learn that.
He will miss chances, but
what I mean is
players will miss chances.
100%. What I'm getting at here, to kind of sum up my bit of it, what I'm saying is I believe you can teach improvement in understanding the game and your position. I think you can say to Marcus Rashford and try to drill it into him, when we don't have the ball, come here, do this, do that, learn how to play left wing better. You can teach that. But I don't think what you can teach is having the X factor, being able to go past someone like they're not there, being able to score goals, being able to find that killer pass. Even if you've given it away 10 times, still be able to find that killer pass. I don't think you can teach that, because that means Paul Pogba at times can be like that. He can have poor games, but he's going to give you something that nobody else can give you. Like, I just feel like I wouldn't let the way those guys are playing football, which is kind of pleasing at times, make me think, well, they're definitely better than the other players, because that wasn't a massively dominant performance. We just defended well against a shit Wolves team. Like, it wasn't that great.
We played better football.
A little bit, but then when we got to the final third at Houghton Park, it wasn't great. Like, Elanga scored a great goal. Could have had a couple, to be fair. His first half was really good. Didn't really see him in the second half. Ahmad, don't get me wrong, done his little thing. You know, it was okay. Like, that wasn't a performance like, fucking hell, like, look how good we were against. I just think we contained Wolves when they didn't really have anything. When Traore came off, they were
easy enough to say that, innit? We made it look like that. I mean, Traore
we could have done that with the other team.
I mean, Wolves are not good. The team that they were, but you're sort of belittling this performance, Flex. Look how bad it was against Fulham. No. Look how bad it was against Fulham.
It was a good performance. I agree.
You're telling me Wolves are not very good and Fulham have got relegated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that. That's a fair point. But again,
we played better
I'm not saying about both
Fulham in the attacking third, and then when we were having to defend, we defended in a better team shape than we did against Fulham. That team today played better than the team played against Fulham.
Do you know what it's easier to do? It's easier.
Every respect.
But what it is easier to do, and you're a football man, and results will tell you this, it's way easier to camp out and just be organised than it is to go and affect the game with 4 goals. Way easier.
Maybe we should have done that against Fulham when we were 1-0 up instead of all
absolutely
running forward and letting them pour through us.
Having said all this, this is like a show. We could have done an hour. Having said all this, we are going to Poland on Wednesday. Yeah. Ollie's not going to play that team that you just saw.
No, he's not.
We can agree on that. That is a fact. He's not going to play that team. What would you like to see? Apart from saying, Flex, I want to see that team to play today. With what we are going to play, what would you like to see? How do you think we should approach the game?
Well, if I've got to be serious, what was
you got to be serious.
There's not really point in me saying what I'd like to see, because he's set in his ways, isn't he? I mean, don't tell me that Van der Beek and Matic are not better than McTominay and Fred. I'm just not having it. You know what I mean? So it's okay saying be serious. I'm being serious. But he's not going to do it, is he? Not going to do it.
He's not.
So it's going to be McTominay and Fred. I think Pogba will play on the left. I think it'll be between Rashford and Greenwood on the right. But
do you think he'll go Rashford?
Come back into fitness at the right time. If there's going to be a shock, I think. But there was. I know we've spoke about team shape and all that, and I know you've said that, but you've got to realise how important it is. I'll just mention one ball that came across today, probably 20 minutes before the end, when Dan James had a little bit of a spell playing on the left. He had a little bit of a spell playing on the right. So about 20 minutes before the end, they got to the dead ball line on the opposite side, their right-hand side, and they crossed it to the far post, and they all jumped for it. It went over everybody, and Dan James was about 7 or 8 yards from his own dead ball line, controlled it on his chest, and ran it out of the box and played it up the line. Now, no matter how much you teach them and no matter how much you ask them to do this, they're always going to be reactionary. Marcus and Mason, they're always going to be running back when they're running back rather than already being there.
Not spotting the danger early.
Dan James is already there, waiting for that ball to come in. Now, if you look at it again, Flex, I don't know if you've recorded it. Have a look at that move again, where he controls it with he's about 8 yards from the dead ball line, he's well inside his own box, and it's bouncing up, to one of their players. You know what I mean? If we haven't got Dan James there, which we wouldn't have had somebody there, if somebody else was playing on the wing, it'd have bounced straight to one of their players in front of our goal. And 9 times out of 10, we wouldn't have had one of our other wingers coming back. So whether that'll be in the manager's mind, if he's got any sense, it will be in his mind. That's equally as important, by the way. It's equally as important as what you're doing going the other way. So it might. There's just a chance there might be a surprise on the right wing, but I think it'll be either Marcus or Mason. For me, it'll be Dan James, and those things are just as important. Now, I think he's going to go with Mason. That's what I think, and I think.
You think? I think there's. See, I think there's no way that he leaves out Marcus, because I think Ollie's shitting himself about this final, and I think he's already lost his captain.
He wants to win it. He wants to win it big time.
He does. And I think he goes with what he knows.
You, like most other fans, are only thinking about how we're going to score goals rather than thinking how we're going to score goals.
I'm not. Hear me out.
He needs to have a good balance.
I agree. I said this to Mark earlier. I don't necessarily agree with it, because you're right. I think we could, Van der Beek and Matic are better than McTominay and Fred. I agree with that 100%. But what I was saying earlier is that Ollie, although he's cool and calm and collected in front of the cameras, he is bricking it. And I think that he knows he's got no Maguire. This ain't the game where he's going to go, that thing that I do every game for the big games, McTominay and Fred, let me give Donny a chance on my watch. Let me leave Marcus Rashford out, who has missed the Man United. He ain't going to make them goals.
I was about to say you can name 10 players who are going to play. I think you can actually only name 9 in my book, because obviously we're not too sure if it's going to be Axel or Bailey.
Who should it be? Who should it be? Actually, who would you go with? Considering Maguire has to miss it, who would you go for?
I'd probably go with Axel, I think, from what I've seen.
Yeah. You know what, Rick? That's the biggest thing we've agreed on today. There's something about Axel at the moment.
Just seems a little bit.
Just looks quite sure, doesn't he?
A bit more assured, yeah.
He does, doesn't it? He looks good in the tackle. He looks good in his awareness. They're both not very good on the ball.
That's a position that's up for grabs. Like I say, I think Pogba will be on the left. Cavani will be at 9. And I think it's between Marcus and Mason for the right-hand side. And I'm really not 100%. Convinced who he'll pick. But I'd pick Dan James.
To finish off, Rick, really long one today. I've actually really enjoyed it. I love this kind of stuff. Who was the man of the match? Was it Elanga? Was it Ahmad? Was it Donny? Was it Matic? Was it Mata? Who was it?
Matic or Mata. The old lads. I'll go with Matic. The youngsters all play great, by the way. And the kids who come on as well.
Hannibal with a nice little nutmeg.
To reflex this.
Are they better than Rashford and the Greenwood already?
Not seen enough of them yet, but they certainly look the part.
Yeah, they look good. Rick, I will see you in Poland. We'll have a couple of beers. We'll enjoy it.
When are you going?
I've had my COVID test done today, and I go on Tuesday. I've had my fit to fly thing. I tell you what, the COVID test, these people, I thought the thing was going to come out the back of my head. I swear to you. I've done a couple of them, but this woman who's come around my house today to do the COVID test, I gagged about 4 times when she'd done it, because she rammed it right down my throat. And the one that, honestly, I thought it went there. I thought it come out the back of my head. So I'm just waiting for that to come back negative tomorrow.
Let's a beer or 2 on Tuesday night.
100%. Hopefully we make it to the final, and if we win, hopefully we make it out there all right, because there's been some nice celebrations going on as well. All right, Rick, I'll see you out there.
See you soon.
All right.